November 30th, 10:43, bright sunny day, innocent people. Truck approaches from the west entrance.
Mate, you can't park here!
10:45. No time to do anything about it.
This is the most high-profile murder case in British history.
You and Ms. Howe are defending the accused terrorist from the government.
And you're from the New York Times. I don't speak to journalists about trials relating to matters of national security.
What was your take on the character, and what were your thoughts on the story?
I loved it. I read the script on a plane, actually, and it was a real page-turner. It was so well written, and there was no way of telling what was going to happen every 10 pages, which is unusual. You know, it's quite often you get a sense of where the movie's going. In this case, that didn't happen. It was a real page-turner.
The first draft was sent to me, so I was told about the film when that was being written, and the idea of it was suggested to me by working title, and I thought it was a wonderful idea for a film.
Tell me how much of yourself was actually part of this character. Did you identify with her at all?
I don't think I'm anywhere near as smart, or as patient, or have such a strong sense of moral exactitude. She's a lawyer, so there's a sense of justice and what is right.
And I understand that you sat in a lot of the closed court hearings because you were intrigued by the plot.
Very much so.
As we all were watching the film. Did you uncover anything interesting?
No, I didn't get my amateur detective hat on. No, I became quite addicted to going to courts and following a handful of lawyers that I got introduced to by Tim Owen, who's a human rights lawyer in London, whose idea was the genesis of the movie.
Right.
And he introduced me to some female barristers, actually, who he thought I would find interesting, and I became quite addicted to watching them in court and seeing how they functioned and worked and thought. And it's thrilling to watch people who are very, very brilliant and very precise and are entirely thinking beings who are very much in their brain, being brilliant.
You're married into a legal family.
Yes.
So how much more research did you have to do, or did you have like a jump start?
Just more pressure. A lot of pressure at home on this one. Yes, my father-in-law is a retired judge and my sister-in-law is a barrister. So it was actually quite handy because I've obviously spent a lot of time with people from the legal profession, and there is a certain level of intellect and wit that definitely is essential, obviously, for my character and essential in that world.
Within 6 months, our client goes from driving a taxi to driving a brand new Mercedes, spending $2,000 a week. Where did all the money come from?
British intelligence brought him in as a double agent. He was supposed to lead them to the terrorist cell before the attack.
Did you guys uncover any stories, or was this plot loosely based on any past occurrences?
No, the film was conceived completely fictionally, but as is often the way, if you conceive of something which is actually quite accurate and interesting and true to life, as you begin uncovering it, people start going, oh, it's a bit like that case. Even though the film is conceived as an entertainment for a grown-up audience and is conceived as a thriller, hopefully it's one which also raises interesting questions and makes you think as well as feel.
It's kind of scary to think that literally every breath you take and every move you make is watched by the UK. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel okay, because I know that they would fall asleep watching me. Probably by lunchtime, actually, they'd probably unplug the cameras and point them somewhere else.
I feel ambivalent about it, as I think anyone does. I strongly believe in the rights of the individual to privacy, and I think it's a bad thing that privacy is becoming more and more of a dirty word, and that it's not respected, and everyone assumes that if you want to be private, then you must be hiding something. I think that's nonsense, and it's one of the fundamentals of any democracy.
Right.
But at the same time, I also respect that compromises have to be made to ensure security.
I think it's an ongoing dialogue, and it's a balancing act between giving up your civil liberties but at the same time feeling like we live in a safe society.
It's definitely going to raise some questions among the people.
I think the system in England is well used to having its hand bitten by artists, and I don't think they mind all that much. And I'm sure they'll just claim that the events of the film are sort of fanciful and a bit sort of hysterical.
You come from a theatrical background. Do you feel more comfortable doing film or on stage?
I think that doing film makes me a better stage actor, and I think that doing a stage makes me a better film actor. So I wouldn't have it without either.
How does John differ as a director than some of the other amazing directors that you've had the privilege of working with?
Yeah, he's one of few that I've worked with that has a theatre background, which is fantastic because they never underestimate the rehearsal period and how important that is. In this case, it was absolutely essential because there was so much dialogue that we had about the pacing of the film and the tone and the gentle unravelling of information, and we had to be very, very careful with that, and we had to calibrate it. It wasn't so much a case of rehearsing scenes over and over again like you would in the theatre, but having someone with that background and that thoroughness was essential in a film like this.
I know that you love directing thrillers and dramas. Is there any type of genre of film that you'd like to direct that you have not yet?
That's a good question. I'd love to make a cowboy film,
Wow.
a good Western.
What are some of your favorite Western films?
Well, The Searchers is one of my all-time favorites, I think. And The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. I'm a huge John Ford fan.
Dump your bag, dump everything.
Get out of there, now.
There are powers at play that neither you nor I may even hope to control.